Emergency pod. I mean, what the hell just happened here? I cannot believe that it has gotten to this point, and the Dallas Cowboys have actually traded Micah Parsons, but they did. The Dallas Cowboys trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Comes out of left field, pretty much. I mean, we knew he was unhappy. We knew they were fielding calls, but so was Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson. I am shocked, appalled that they actually traded one of the 5 to 10 best players in the National Football League to the point where we have to hop on for an emergency podcast. I mean, there's nothing else. This can't wait a day or two or something like that. This is like full-fledged reaction. I don't even have any notes. I'm just totally appalled by what just transpired here today. Jerry Jones once again letting his ego get the best of him. Just completely blew this on every level. This isn't like this is obvious. This is not. I'm not saying anything that no one has heard before or that no one hasn't heard before. Just again, the contract is insane. No doubt about it. 4 years, $188 million, $136 million guaranteed. But that being said, you obviously pay this. This is not like it's yes. Now Micah Parsons is now the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So was T.J. Watt before this, making $41 million a year. Myles Garrett, $40 million a year. Danielle Hunter, $35 million a year. Max Crosby, $35 million a year. Justin Jefferson, 35. CeeDee Lamb, 34. Nick Bosa, 34. And Micah Parsons is better than all these guys. And he's younger than all these guys, at least at his position. Myles Garrett, he's 3 years older than Micah Parsons. T.J. Watt's 4 years older than Micah Parsons. Danielle Hunter, Max Crosby. These guys are all older. Nick Bosa is older than Micah Parsons. These guys are all older than Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons is better than these guys right now, I believe. I mean, you could put 1A, 1B, 1C with Watt, Garrett, and Micah Parsons, but this is just unprecedented stuff. Just to trade a guy who's not even in his prime yet. He's actually entering his prime. I mean, the comparisons from this trade to the Luka trade, ironically both being Dallas players, is just uncanny. I mean, it's two guys who were both 26 years old getting traded in the same calendar year, 5 months apart. Luka getting traded in February to the Lakers, and then now Micah Parsons getting traded in August here to the Packers. I mean, it's ridiculous stuff to the point where I really feel bad for the city of Dallas at this point. Jerry Jones, his presser just started right now, and he said don't rule out we might trade some of these picks for more talent right now. I mean, just how ridiculous is that? We might trade for more Pro Bowl players. You had a Pro Bowl player on your team. You had a 4-time Pro Bowl player on your team who's only been in the league for 4 years. And just to let it get to this point it's such unbelievable levels of incompetency. Like I mentioned on a couple podcasts earlier, Micah Parsons, everyone from his draft class in the first round, everyone who's like a known good player has already gotten extended. This is the fact that it's waited this long is so ridiculous on so many different levels. When you have a dude, the ideal part is to pay them as soon as possible. So you don't have to get to this point where it's, entering a 5th-year option and it's like, you better play on a 5th-year option or you're done. And this is like one of the 5 to 10 best players in the league. So he obviously should have been taken care of already. I mean, even Cincinnati, cheap Cincinnati, has paid Jamar Chase, and that's a receiver. This is a premium pass rusher. I mean, outside of quarterbacks, these are the guys that should be making the most amount of money in the league. It's quarterback and who can get to the quarterback. And Micah Parsons does it as well as anybody, along with T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett. But I think what separates him maybe from those guys is he's better against the run than T.J. Watt and maybe better than Myles Garrett against the run. So this dude is like a full-fledged bona fide superstar that you obviously pay. This is not like do you pay him this much? Do you cap him at $40 million, or do you not pay? TJ Watt's making $41 million a year. He's 4 years older. You obviously pay Micah Parsons more than TJ Watt. It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. 4 years younger, probably better right now anyways. Will definitely be better in the long term. It's an obvious investment that you make. And man, I'm just appalled. Not appalled that they waited too long, because Jerry Jones does that with everybody. He always waits so long, which is why he's a terribly run owner and his team is terribly run. His counterparts in his own division, Howie Roseman, I always pay guys early, and they always come out looking good. Dallas, I just figured they'd cave in and pay him the $47 million and pay him a ton of money, because they did with Dak Prescott with $60 million. Paying $60 million to Dak Prescott is obviously ridiculous, but he's a quarterback. He's a good quarterback, and usually you need to have one. So you just you bite the bullet in this case, and Jerry Jones usually does that, but not here. Let his ego get the best of him in this one, and loses Micah Parsons a week before the season starts. Another ridiculous thing to do. If you're going to trade him, which obviously is ridiculous to do. You could have done it in April. You could have done it last year and probably gotten more, but to do it a week before the season starts, I mean, at that point, are you even getting the best offer? They get 2 first-round picks in this entire deal here. 2 first-round picks. I mean, for God's sakes, the Jets got 2 first-round picks for Jamal Adams like 6 years ago. That's a safety. Receivers go for 2 first-round picks, not the best pass rushers in the sport. Those guys have to go for a minimum of 3 first-round picks, a minimum. And they get Kenny Clark as well. Kenny Clark, I like Kenny Clark. He's a nice player, but he is 30 years old, and his best football is behind him. So, I mean, what does that do? This is, like the Dallas defense now is just absolute garbage. It's complete garbage. I mean, there's like maybe 1.5, 2 good players I like on their defense now. It's just, it's not. This is bad. I feel bad for Cowboys fans, honestly, because like, what's the message you're sending? Like on the product, like on the field, this is the product you're gonna put out. You're not gonna pay your best player. It's not even about not paying him. It's just like how in the world does it get to the point where you actually trade him? Actually go through with trading him. With the Trey Hendrickson stuff, it went on for months, and Cincinnati was finally fielding some calls. It was like, wait, really? You're gonna field calls for your only good defensive player? You can't lose him, right? And they ended up just paying They ended up just like, hey, we'll just keep you happy for 1 year. Maybe we can't work out something long term, but they gave him a 1-year deal with a boatload of money to keep him. But it's only 1 year. Dallas, for some reason, doesn't want to invest in the 26-year-old elite pass rusher who also is great against the run. Easily your best player, one of the 10 best players in football. They don't want to do that. And it all comes down to Jerry Jones is again, incompetent and is senile and doesn't know what he's doing. It's very unfortunate for Dallas. That is very fortunate for Green Bay. This is just, I mean, this changes the outlook. I have to now revise my predictions in the NFC. I have to go back and redo the whole thing because I did not anticipate Green Bay adding one of the 10 best players in football on their roster a week before the season starts. I mean, this is completely changes. I was on Green Bay's under 9.5 wins. I'm no longer on their under 9.5 wins. I think they're for sure a playoff lock now. They were already a playoff team last year. They're definitely going to get back there this year, and they're going for it. I mean, it's not every day. In fact, it never happened. This is so rare in the NFL where one of the 5-10 best players in the league just kind of hits the open market. No one ever lets that even happen anymore in the NFL. They just extend guys before they end up getting available to be off the market, or they just franchise tag you or whatever, but they don't actually let you leave the building. It doesn't actually happen unless they're, a receiver, diva receiver, safety, corner, off-ball linebacker. Maybe they trade those guys if they're unhappy and they get something for them. That's happened in the NFL before, plenty of times. Running backs, same thing. But your best pass rusher, one of the best in football, maybe the best in football, that does not happen. Those sort of things just don't occur in the NFL. I mean, even Myles Garrett was unhappy in Cleveland. Cleveland said, we're not trading you. That's not happening unless we get like the moon and the stars, which wasn't happening. And like I said, he's 3 years older than Micah Parsons. So you're not trading guys who are entering their prime at the best position outside of quarterback in the NFL. That's the most premium position is quarterback and who can get to the quarterback. They had one. They no longer have one. I mean, even the Raiders, Max Crosby was kind of happy a couple years ago because they weren't winning. They're like, yeah, we're not trading you, buddy. We're not going to find another Max Crosby. We're not finding another Max Crosby. Even if we trade even if we get 3 firsts and those first round picks turn into Pro Bowl players, they're not going to be Max Crosby more often than not. And I don't know if Jerry Jones's brain isn't really functioning that way. That, hey, we got these picks for Micah Parsons. Maybe we can do something for him. Maybe we can get something for these guys. That's really just, I mean, it's just bad business. It's really bad business. Dallas is fielding a defense that absolutely sucks now. They do have Osa Odigizua and Kenny Clark in the middle of that defense and in the interior defensive line. That's good. Outside of that, it's going to be really bad. The secondary now without Micah Parsons is going to be really bad. Trayvon Diggs is nice, but he was masking a lot of that secondary issues because he can get to the quarterback in 1 second. That's not going to happen anymore. You're not going to be able to get to the quarterback in the blink of an eye. So that secondary is probably going to take a hit. Overshown's out for majority of the year. This defense this year is going to be brutal. So Dallas is submarining. Take their under win total because it is submarining under this year. Dallas is going to be an absolute joke to watch. And they kick off the NFL season a week from today. So I cannot believe it got this bad. I cannot believe it's reached this point. Again, eerily similar to the Luka trade. Now, the funny thing is, what is worse for Dallas sports fans? Is it the Micah Parsons trade or the Luka trade? I don't think anything's ever going to get worse than the Luka trade because that one was completely out of left field. This one, I'm shocked. I'm still shocked, not equally as shocked, because at least Micah Parsons was unhappy, and at least they were having contract disputes. Like he was holding out, and they were like they hadn't paid him yet, and he wanted to stay, or he didn't want to stay. He was like I'm requesting a trade with Luka. Luka wanted to stay. It was a complete blindside, completely out of left field. He was under contract. There was no unhappy discussions here. Luka wanted to be a Maverick for life, and Dallas wanted to trade him and get Anthony Davis back, which I still can't believe I'm saying out loud. So this is not as bad as Luka, I don't think, but it's pretty close. I mean, it's like right up there with one of the dumbest things you could possibly do in sports, and it somehow happened in a calendar year where a team, well, actually two teams, but in the same city, trade their best players entering their prime at 26 years old in the same calendar year in 5 months for this to happen in the same city. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. I feel bad for the city of Dallas, more importantly, because these are guys that they thought they would be on their teams for the next decade. It's just, and Micah Parsons doesn't even feel like a Packer to me. It doesn't give off Packer vibes. It's gonna take some getting used to, but I don't think this is as bad as the Luka trade. But that being said, it's right up there. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. And another key point that the Luka trade is much worse is Luka Doncic went for 1 first-round pick in an NBA, in a league where Mikal Bridges, those kind of players will go for 5 first-round picks. Rudy Gobert will go for 5 first-round picks. Those kind of players go for a boatload of picks. And Luka Doncic went for Anthony Davis, an old brittle center, and 1 first-round pick. That's it. So that was obviously the worst trade in the history of sports, probably. But 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons is garbage. It's right up there with some of the worst moves you'll ever see. Jerry Jones, I can't believe he's still running a team. I'm honestly not sure if he's like mentally allowed to run a team. I really think that there's some issues upstairs with him. That maybe he should not be doing this for much longer. If Dallas wants to have any hope as far as like a future, Jerry Jones needs to no longer be running this team, because this is a joke. Like I said 50 times already, I'm shocked it got to this point. I was shocked on the earlier episode I did with George, when I was like, they're gonna end up paying him, but like I can't believe it got to this point where Jerry Jones once again is making things in the news for no reason. He's like, hey, we're not gonna actually pay Micah Parsons. Like it's gonna get to the point where he actually requests a trade, and then we'll pay him. That's what I figured would happen. I'm like, okay, Jerry's just doing this for more media. They want to be talked about again because it was a dead period and Dallas wanted to get talked about. This is usually what Jerry Jones always does when there's nothing going on. He's like, okay, well, how can I get my team, back in the press, back in the spotlight, in the narratives? And he, famously doesn't want to pay Micah Parsons, to the point where Micah Parsons has to go on Twitter, write a little notes app, and say, hey, I want to get traded to someone who actually will pay me, which is like 31 NFL teams. If anyone had the money to do it, they would be like, oh yeah, we'll trade 2 first-round picks for Micah Parsons and immediately pay you $47 million. If anyone was actually had the money to do it, they would do it. Matter of fact, any other team wouldn't even let it get to this point. Any other team would have paid Micah Parsons 2 or 3 years after they saw him play football. They would not have waited until the end of his 4th year to sit down and have contract conversations. That would not happen. Even, like I said, even the cheap ass organization that is the Cincinnati Bengals realized they have a top 10 player in the sport in Jamar Chase, and they paid him. And again, that took into last season, a little bit bled into last season, but that was after his 3rd year. After Jamar Chase's 3rd year, Cincinnati knew, okay, like we have to pay him a ton of money, more than we're capable of spending, really, because we're a cheap organization. But we know if we wait another year, it's just going to be even more ridiculous. So Jamar Chase is making $40 million a year. Justin Jefferson's making $35 million a year, but Justin Jefferson was also in the class before Jamar Chase. They're both awesome players. That's just kind of how the order of things go. Cincinnati eventually did open the pocketbook up and pay Jamar Chase, because obviously you do that. You don't want to lose one of the 5 to 10 best players in the sport, and you don't want to lose your best player outside of maybe Joe Burrow. This is just so ridiculous to not pay Micah Parsons. It's just so ridiculous to not pay Micah Parsons after his 2nd or 3rd year playing the sport, because you already know he's good. It's not like you have to wait until the end of a 4-year deal to just extend the guy. You could extend him whenever you want. A matter of fact, the Chiefs already extended George Karlaftis after 2 seasons. The Jets have already extended guys after 2 seasons. Sometimes you just know they're good. You don't have to wait 4 whole years to be like, oh yeah, now we're going to give you a 5th-year option, then extend you, then tag you. Then only Jerry Jones does this stupid nonsense. Most other teams that are well run pay early. extend them early because they know they're good already, and they don't wait to get to this point where now the player's unhappy because he's like, what are we doing here? I haven't gotten a long-term deal yet. I'm still not financially stable long-term. I'm going to get a 5th-year option, which is a 1-year deal, and then you're probably going to tag me next year. Like, what are we doing here? The franchise tag, first of all, no players like being on the franchise tag. And with the way this was going right now, it looked like Jerry Jones was like, hey, play on the 5th-year option. You're going to play out your last year of your contract because first-round picks get 4 years plus 1 more with 5th round with the 5th-year option. And then they are officially free agents. But they're really not, because in the NFL, they have this stupid franchise tag rule, which means a team can just place the tag on you and you can't go anywhere. You're again held hostage there for 1 year. It's just so ridiculous. And also no team wants to do that anymore because it actually hampers their cap situation. If you extend guys, actually it gives you more flexibility in as far as the cap goes, because you can kind of manage, you can front load a contract, you can back load a contract, you can actually manage it year to year. Whereas if you franchise tag guys, it's taking up a boatload of your money, and it's just not a good financial decision for the front office or for a player. No player likes being on the tag because it's not long-term finance. It's not long-term, sustainability. You're only getting 1 year of getting paid. Obviously, he just got a 4-year deal worth almost $200 million, so he is doing just fine. It's well-deserved. Highest paid non-quarterback in football. Probably he's maybe the best player that isn't a quarterback in football. It's him, Jamar Chase, TJ Watt, or Myles Garrett as far as the best non-quarterbacks in the sport. Unless I'm blanking on somebody, but it's those 3 or 4. I mean, after Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Burrow, like you can after the quarterbacks that are awesome, he's right there as far as one of the best players in football. He's probably a top 5 player, top 10 player, like I said. It's just ridiculous that Jerry Jones just lets a guy out the door for just a terrible, terrible offer. This isn't even a haul. Like, had they got 3 or 4 first-round picks, I'd be like, wow, Dallas is, they're rebuilding. They're going to be bad, but at least they have a boatload of picks. They have 2 first-round picks. What are they going to do with those? They're going to be bad first-round picks. Green Bay's going to be really good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Green Bay made a huge move in getting Micah Parsons. The NFC North is loaded. I feel bad for my Bears, who are probably a last-place team again, because they will not be able to, block Micah Parsons. They will not be able to block the Vikings and the Lions and Aiden Hutchinson. So what a division the NFC North is. My goodness, Green Bay and Detroit week 1 is going to be awesome. This division is must watch. Green Bay is must watch. Green Bay goes back to Dallas in week 4 on Sunday Night Football. So Micah Parsons will have a chance to, play with a little extra juice against his former team. Dallas's O-line also stinks. So wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of dominates them that game. This is just not looking good for the Cowboys this year. And they will kick off the NFL season a week from tonight against Philadelphia, the defending Super Bowl champions. That game is all of a sudden now turning into, it might not even be close. It might just be a rout, because Philadelphia is going one way and Dallas is just going the complete opposite way. I'm still going to watch it. It's 2 teams that absolutely hate each other. It's 2 rivals, but right now Dallas is all about Jerry Jones right now. It's not even about the football team. It's not even about the product on the field. The product on the field at this point is coming secondary. The primary talk about Dallas right now is Jerry Jones, like it always is. And he, lets his best player walk out the door a week before the season starts. So that's it for this emergency podcast. Me and George will be back early next week to, recap week 1 of college football and preview week 1 of the NFL, where we will again talk about Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, not Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, but we will talk about Micah Parsons leaving the Dallas Cowboys, as well as preview Dallas, Philly, and the whole rest of the week 1 slate, and talk about this more, obviously, because there'll be more details coming out in the coming days. But holy cow. Emergency pod. We had to do it. Micah Parsons is a Packer.